Hello and welcome back. My name is Kari Langkamp, and you are watching my Holiday Countdown Coach Spotlight. And I am so excited to share with you one of my peers, fellow coaches, who I have known, almost 5 years now, probably,
Oh
because
gosh.
are we approaching that? As we were paired post certification, and we have continued to support one another and connect since that time. So Lisa Duke is with me. She is a coach of many talents, right? Personal trainer, weight loss coach. You've got some past history of money coaching and other things in there too, but currently more on the health front, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much for
Thanks.
having me. I'm
Oh, yes,
excited to
you're
be
welcome.
here. Yeah,
Glad to
for
have
us
you
to get
here.
to reconnect. We did. We went through Life Coach School certification together and we're paired up for the end. So we launched our businesses together, and it is disturbing and shocking that that's been 5 years, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure you're right.
thereabouts, somewhere around that
Pretty,
long, right?
pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I my I was telling somebody about this the other day, and I don't know why, but I've always kind of liked people my own age. When I was a kid, of course, I wanted to hang out with other kids, right? So now I am, gosh, I'm 51. Be 52 in the spring, yes. And so my focus now, as usual, is people my own age. And so a lot of the clients I work with are women over 40, and definitely when we get to that age, life changes. I think the body changes, metabolism changes. And so my focus is really on helping people get through that change, primarily through that health and wellness lens. So weight loss is definitely my primary focus. That's what my coaching program focuses around. And as we were talking about before we started recording, a couple of years ago, I got diagnosed with ADHD. So, in true ADHD style, I've kind of pinged off in different directions from there. But I had several people tell me, "Oh, I'm not going to work with a weight coach. I'm going to work with a trainer." And I was like, I don't know that that's the best person, but I didn't really know what trainers know. So I went and became certified as a trainer. And, again, not a terrible idea if you're adding more movement, always a great idea and good for you for a lot of reasons besides weight loss. But I really feel like the training that you and I had on mindset coaching is so critical and so valuable, especially as we're starting to look at January. It's going to be here before we know it. A lot of people set New Year's
Yeah.
resolutions around weight loss, getting back into the gym. And the mindset with which we do that is the most important part. And it's what separates the people who are done by Valentine's Day from those who, this becomes a lifelong change. So that's really my focus, is helping people get the mindset right, primarily focused around the food. Why are we eating what we're eating? We have a lot of not very good reasons for why we eat the wrong things or overeat. So, really kind of troubleshooting the calories inside. And then once somebody gets that going, if they want to add in movement with the personal training, I can help with that as well.
And you have your own story to pair with this, right? Like, this works because,
Exactly. When we were going through coach training, we got access to all the materials on how to be a coach. But at that time, we also got access to all the materials that our
right.
coach trainer had developed for all of her clients. And so I went through that program. And so I lost 40 pounds at 46 years old during COVID when everybody else it was doing the opposite.
Yeah.
And it just worked out really well from a marketing perspective because we had recently moved to Florida, where we are now. And I'd gotten to know people as someone who weighed over 200 pounds. Um, like it wasn't, people of Walmart scary, but I was not in a healthy place. I'd had a very sedentary job. My background is in IT. We still have an IT business that we run part time. So a lot of sitting, a lot of sedentary behavior. And so going through that mindset approach to weight loss, losing the weight myself when I came came out that
Post
year
COVID.
as yeah, post COVID. I mean, it's still kind of
Yeah,
around, but you know
right,
what I mean. When I started getting back out and about, it was such, if people had seen me week by week, they probably wouldn't have even noticed. But because it was such a
right.
sharp before and after, which if anybody's interested, I've got a couple of pictures up, lisaduke.net. You can see them. I think it's on the About Me page. But it was such a sharp contrast that people were like, what did you do? What are you doing? And so that's how I got into the weight coaching was I just had so many people asking about, well, how did the mindset approach help with the weight loss? And so I thought, well, this seems to be a thing that people are interested in. And again, right, I feel like the training that we've had, we could hold space for anything. And also, I feel like it would be out of integrity to market myself as an expert on something I haven't done, right? Like if somebody wanted to come out, I can hold space for that. I feel comfortable with that. And also, like, that's not my personal story.
Yeah.
Like, straight girl, I haven't lived that drama. And so, while I feel like I could hold space, it would be weird from a marketing perspective to be like, I'm the coming out coach. Like, it would make a lot more sense if that had been my life experience. So that was really the motivation behind it. I was launching my business, starting the marketing, and I had had success with this approach. And so it made sense to offer that to others.
And it's interesting to think too, when you were starting out, the weight loss drugs that we are all hearing about were not really anything anybody was talking about, right? It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but a lot has changed in that world.
Exactly.
And like, tell me more about like what you're seeing with that. I still think the mindset piece personally is so important to this, but I'll let you speak to why.
Exactly. Yeah. It's been really fascinating. And I'll just overshare because that's how I roll. I do think it has somewhat hurt my business. Some of that may be my mindset, right? That I kind of thought it was
Yeah,
going to, and so it has. But I do think some of that is out in the external reality because these medications are being talked about like they're the end all be all,
yeah,
magical cure for everything. Um, and they are groundbreaking, I think. They do change the paradigm. And also, right, if you haven't got your head right,
yeah,
you can find ways, right? You're not addressing the underlying issue.
right.
So I'm not opposed to medication. It's actually been really interesting because my husband was one of the first people in my circle to actually use those medications. He did get diagnosed as type 2 diabetic, which that's a whole other story. But let's just say he really likes his sweets. So some of it was choices, I think. But he was on tirzepatide,
Okay.
and the doctor he was working with joked, she's like, "You must be like the genetic profile for which this was developed," because he tracks his weight because he's a metrics guy, and you can just see it just went like woo off the cliff, right? But after he lost the weight and came off of it, of course, we haven't dealt with any of the underlying
Right.
habits, patterns, behaviors for him. And this is now airing his dirty laundry, but that's what makes it interesting. Um, I kind of think, I haven't even talked to him about this, but he was definitely an over drinker. And when he stopped drinking, I think he just switched his buffer of choice from alcohol to, carbs, which is a thing that happens to a lot of people, right? If you ever
Yeah.
watch on TV, the AA meeting, it's always like, who brought the donuts? And again, no shame, it's not bad or wrong as a transition, but you don't want to just replace one substance with another. You really want to get in and try to pay attention to your behavior, figure out what the thoughts and the feelings are that are driving it and deal with that. So it's definitely effective. And also I've also had clients that I've coached who will admit, "Oh yeah, I'm on the medication and I've gotten kind of lazy," right? So they're instead of trying to make healthier choices, they're like, "Oh, it's cool. I can have a muffin for breakfast and I'm not hungry the rest of the day. And I'm not losing weight, but I'm maintaining. And so it's cool. And so, again, right? Like, yay, team science. I'm in
Yeah.
favor of innovation. And also, I still think if we can get at what's the root cause for the overeating, and whether it's with medication or without, the coaching is, I think, a really valuable aspect of navigating that transition and making it not just losing weight, but losing weight in a healthy way. You want to make sure you're getting your protein to preserve your muscle. You want to make sure you're getting, your veggies and your fruits for the vitamins, the minerals, the fiber. So it doesn't, I don't think it erases the problem, but I think it can be another tool
Yeah.
in the toolbox.
Yeah. Yeah. And the mindset piece, right? Once we learn that, I think the power of that is that it filters into everything else in your life, even without you maybe really trying to necessarily do that, right?
Yes,
It can't help but if we don't address
exactly.
that, then it's just this one little corner that we've taken care of with
Yes,
something
yes, it's
else.
so
So
true. Um, and you get much more onto yourself. Um, it's really funny. I don't think you and I have talked about this, but I actually have recently done a couple of months worth of EMDR therapy, going back and dealing with some things from childhood that, like, okay, it's been 40 years. I should probably get over this, and yet here we are. And so that was really powerful for cleaning stuff up. But it was funny, between the ADHD and the coaching background, the therapist was just, for the most part, along for the ride until we found something that she could actually use the EMDR to clear. Because I'm so self aware now that I could kind of, like, as I was talking through it, I could kind of see, like, oh, as I'm explaining it, this is actually a made up imaginary
yeah,
problem.
here's a story I've been believing that might not be true, right?
Exactly, exactly. And I think that's one
Yeah.
of the most valuable things with coaching. And again, right, like when you've had the kind of training that we have had, or even as a client, what we train our clients to do, there is a lot more self awareness. You can do a lot of that on your own. And also, there's no substitute for having sort of an outside third party witness to mention, like,
Yeah.
so just like, it's okay if you want to believe that, but just so you know, I don't like, I
Yeah.
respect that that's your truth, but I don't think that's God's highest truth. Like, I think that's an optional, like, not
Yeah.
every, just so you know, not everybody believes that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, either when I'm the client or when I'm working with the client, just that realization of, like, oh, I thought this was like truth with a capital T and
Yeah.
true for everybody. But if not everybody believes that, maybe I don't have to.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. It's such a little thing, but our thoughts really do create our, it's like a filter through
Yeah.
which we see the world, right? They talk about rose-colored glasses. It's the same thing. We're all wearing belief-colored glasses. And the information we choose to take in, what we pay attention to, what we let go, very much colored by our
Yeah.
beliefs. And if that's helping you, awesome. But if not, a lot of them are totally optional.
Yeah. It's interesting. So on the day one, actually, I interviewed Michelle, who I think you have met via my program as well. And when she uses the model that we all learned in terms of those of us who were trained at the life coach school, she
Mhm.
actually adds a line for the lens before the thought line. So, right, we all come in with our own set of unique glasses that we are
Mhm.
viewing the world, and how we
Mhm.
are seeing it determines how we are probably choosing to think about it, right? But to notice, like, we can both take off our lens, or at least like inspect it and say, do I still want to be wearing these glasses? And then that determines, right? Oh, and then I can start questioning the story I've been telling. So
Exactly.
whether you
Exactly.
separate it out or include it in one, it's an opportunity to question and
Yeah. And we
explore.
all, and it's not bad or wrong, right? We all have our own, I think it's actually kind of cool and magical. We all have our own unique perspective on life, the human experience, the
Yeah.
world. No one has the same, again, it's kind of mind blowing. Nobody has the same experience. There have been times my brother and I have talked about, we both remember a specific incident from our childhood. We might even remember, like, if we were witnesses to a crime,
Sure.
we would tell the same story. But what we made it mean, what we took from it, like what the big life lesson was, totally different. And it's fascinating to see how, like, we're all making this up. And then again, the next level beyond that is, okay, if that's the source of your problems is a thing you made up, then you actually have the power
Yeah.
to change it.
Yeah.
It's
We
a
can't change the thing that may have externally happened, but we can certainly
correct.
explore
Correct.
we're
And
making.
right, we can either reframe
Yeah.
what we make it mean, or maybe it just like sometimes the thing is just really objectively terrible. And I don't think it's worth arguing with that.
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, okay, the terrible thing happened. Now what?
Right. How do I take
What do
care of
we?
myself? How do I proceed from here?
Yeah, because some of the people who have the most horrible stories go on to do these great things. Like Oprah did not have a great childhood,
Yeah.
but she's had a great life. So do we make that, kind of this little box we live inside of, or do we, step on top of it and go from there? So again, it's valid and it's true and it's real. And also, what do we do with it?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I know in addition to your personal training and your health and wellness and weight coaching, right, you may have added in some additional options for people in terms of, did I see you are teaching yoga these
Oh
days?
yeah. I was like, what else am I doing?
Yes. Well, and we
I'm
didn't
glad
talk
you gave me
about
a
your
clue.
background in things like EFT, right? You have this whole kind of package of tools that you carry with you into every client interaction. Um,
Exactly, exactly. So, yes, more kind of on the physical side, and really the way that the way that came about. I've been doing yoga on and on probably since my 20s. I had a real tragic hot yoga experience
mm,
early on where I just like it just I don't know, it was too much for me and I stepped out of the room and the guy came and yelled at me.
oh,
So I was like, I'm never doing hot yoga again. And now I'm teaching hot yoga once a week
okay.
at Crunch
Full
in
circle.
Stewart. Exactly, which is actually great because if you're teaching, you can go at your own pace.
Yeah.
So I can just make
Which
it a little
probably technically we could say that your participants can too. If they just, right, when you're a
true,
participant,
true.
it's a
Yeah,
mindset thing. You think you can't,
exactly,
right?
exactly. And
Yeah.
yoga's pretty good about that. They'll always say, like, you can go into child's pose at
Yeah.
any time. That's your resting pose. And, you can modify, you can make it
Yeah.
easier or make it harder. But yeah, I've been doing yoga off and on probably since my 20s. And I have thought about being a yoga teacher, but I was like, eh, it seems like there's a lot of yoga teachers out there. I don't know that, like, I feel like maybe the supply exceeds the demand. I feel like it doesn't pay a whole lot. Why would I do it? But it really came about because I'm working as a personal trainer at one of the
Yeah.
clubs in town, highly seasonal clientele. It's mostly snowbirds. And so I thought, well, if I offer the yoga, then that's a way to get in front of different members. And it's a little entitled, but I really kind of thought, like, I'll just let them know that I've got the yoga teacher certification and they'll put me on the group class schedule. And that didn't work out. They were like, we think you need a little experience. And like, I try, hopefully, like, I'm not very good at managing my face, but I didn't say anything at least. But I was kind of like, it's not that hard. I've taken so many yoga classes. I did the yoga teacher training. It'll be fine. And then, sure enough, I got on over at Crunch to teach. And the very first class, I had this moment where I think if I hadn't had the extra time, I would have been fine.
Sure.
But I got everything set up. It was about 5 minutes before we were supposed to start. I turned around and everybody's just looking at me. And I was like, oh no.
What do I say now for this 5 minutes then?
Right, exactly. And I could say something, but if I start talking, it'll probably, because I was kind of amped up, like that
Yes.
will probably come across and it will probably be too much. And so I just pretended I had some place to be. I like literally walked out of the room. It's like back to my first hot yoga class, just left the room. But I just, kind of took a minute, like took a lap, sort of pretended I was looking to see, like, oh, is Susie coming? And then I went back in when it was time to start, and it was fine. And I haven't been at all nervous since then. But I was like, oh, maybe they knew what they were talking about, suggesting I get a little experience before I teach there. So, yeah, so it's been kind of fun because, again, right? Like the way you're supposed to do life is you pick one thing and you become an expert at it and you do it all day, every day, probably while sitting at a desk. Um, and I'm definitely not doing that, but I kind of think it's a good thing because I did go through a space in my business where I was doing a lot of back to back to back coaching. And that's not really great physically to sit
Right.
for that long, back to back to back like that. So it's kind of fun. I have a couple of clients at the country club that I work at. I have a couple of clients that come to the house that are direct. And then I have the yoga class that I'm teaching, and I have a couple of coaching clients. So it's kind of fun because I get to, right? Like, isn't that kind of what anybody would tell us to do? They're like, oh, you have a sedentary job. Just get up and, go,
You get to,
do a yoga class in the middle of the day. And nobody, like, that's not compatible with the way we live our lives. So nobody does it. But this way, I've actually kind of made it my job. The other thing we were laughing about, one of the guys that works for my husband said something about, like, yeah, she just basically takes everything she takes, pays money for, and turns it into a stream of income. So instead of paying for yoga classes, I'm getting paid to go to yoga classes. And the guy's like, man,
yeah. There is a
you
little
guys do
preparation,
that.
having been someone who's also taught that, right? Or in other group fitness. Right, it's not the same, right? When you're showing up, yes, you are getting paid to go to yoga class, but you are also spending time preparing a sequence that makes sense
Correct.
and
Yeah.
like holding space for everyone in the
Yeah.
room. And
I don't want to give anybody the impression that all you do is turn up.
yes,
Hopefully,
yeah,
and there might be some people out there who can do that and wing it and are good.
yeah,
But yes, you're right. It's not just it's like anything else, right? It's not just the time in front of the camera. It's the time,
all of the
if you're,
preparation,
yeah, if
which
you're
is a beautiful
interviewing an
coaching
author,
reminder
hopefully you've
too.
read the book. So sorry.
Well, I was just to say it's just a powerful reminder of kind of a coaching concept as well, right? We tend to do that in life, like, oh, this person over here lost all this weight, and we see them at the finish line, and we don't see all of the story that led them there and all of this and this, right? That helped them find where they're at. We just see, oh, I want the end result.
Right.
And to
And
have that reminder, right?
of course, I'd much rather have the end result without any of the uppy downy windy windy. But
Right.
we learn a lot on the uppy
Yeah.
downy windy
Yeah.
windy. But you're right. Yes. So, with the yoga class I'm doing, I actually kept the same basic flow. This has just been a couple of weeks. So I've actually kept the same basic flow, but every week I do kind of go through that with what we learned again at the life coach school,
Yeah.
what worked, what didn't work,
Right.
what I want to do differently. So I have been, tweaking it every week. And with the personal training, that requires a lot of planning as well, because I need to think about what are the client's limitations, what are their goals, and what are the thing, what
Right.
phase are they? The training that I went through,
And
they have three main
building on,
phases,
right.
exactly,
Yeah.
like stability, strength, power. So, and a lot of them are older and, maybe their arms don't go all the way up. So we're probably not going to be doing,
Right. A lot of
200
overhead presses and
pound.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. But everybody can do something. So, yeah, it's taking that whole consideration of like, where are they in their program? what's going on with their body, what are their goals, what did they say they want to work on, what do I think they need to work on, and trying to bring all that together. So for all of that, there is a good bit, not only, right, there was the certification, so all the learning,
Right.
taking the exam, all the preparation. But then for each workout, I've thought through what we're going to do, and there's a reason for everything we do. And I do think that makes it, like I said, I'm sure there are people that do show up and wing it,
Yeah.
but that's
You're
usually
adding
not.
that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So whatever you're getting paid per hour, it's probably half that because
Yeah.
you're
And it depends on the
spending
person.
time.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
same with the coaching business, right? So you're probably at the phase where you can just show up and coach. And also, how much training did you do? How much education? How much experience do you have? Um, and you probably think about, I know I think about clients
Hmm.
in between as well. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of behind the scenes time. That
Yeah.
hour of billable time
Yeah.
has
It's
hours of
less
free
about
time behind
that.
it.
Yeah. And more
Yeah,
about
unpaid
the
time.
the connection and yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I
The
know I don't
sales
want
and the
to hold
marketing.
us too long, but I would
Yes,
love for you to share. You kind of told people all of the different things, but you do work with people. They don't need to be right in your community in order to work with you. So if you want to share a little bit more about how you might, if somebody is interested, what might be available.
perfect. Yeah. So for the weight coaching, I have a 16-week program. So I recommend, but do not require that people go through the whole 16-week program. And I like for people to do it back to back, and sometimes they don't. Um, so what I have people do is we work in packages. So they buy a package of 4 sessions because I do feel like coaching is different from a lot of other things that people have done.
Right.
And even if they've done coaching before, the way we were trained to do it, and then I have my spin on it. So I figure 4 sessions is enough. And I always check in with a client after 4 sessions. Do you feel like this is helping you? Do you want to continue? But I'm not going to do that every single session because after one session, like they don't know.
Yeah. Well, and you
Right.
need to
So
stack just like you would with your personal training clients, right? Like in order to start to see results, you've got to build up. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. You're not going to do one workout and be like, okay, I'm strong now. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like it takes a while. I think they say in personal training about 4 to 6 weeks to start to see. And I will say every time with the personal training, every time you work out, you are undergoing changes,
Right.
but it's maybe at the cellular level.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
it's
you want to
like those
see a difference.
1%, right? You may not see
Exactly.
1% if you just
Exactly.
look at the one day, but if you stack a
Exactly.
1% and a 1% and a 1%,
Yeah.
right?
And honestly, I do the same thing with the personal training as well. I have people buy a package of 8 sessions. So I recommend minimum 30 minutes twice a week, 8 sessions. And same thing, after that, you'll know like, okay,
Yeah.
this is my jam. This is helping me. I feel like I'm stronger. I feel like my balance is better. I'm progressing. Or you're going to be like, yeah, this is not what I was imagining at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also for us as the coach, right? To have the option to say, like, okay, we've worked together for 4 sessions. I really like you. I'd like to continue to work with you. And also, not everything is within our scope of
Right.
practice. So if somebody's had, I know I've had several clients that I've dealt with on the food piece, and the root cause goes back to like, mom was a narcissist. And while, again, I'm happy to hold space on anything, like, that's probably if there's an eating disorder, right? If it's um, bulimia, um, anorexia, there are certain things that are out of scope for
Right.
us. Like, okay, now that I've gotten a little further into this, this
Yeah.
sounds like a therapy thing. So maybe we can continue and
As
you
long
add some
as, right,
therapy.
you are
Yeah, or
adding that
therapy
in.
for a while
Right.
and we come back. But I
Right.
like that. I don't want anybody to get into it and then to feel like
Yeah.
this isn't what I wanted, but I already paid for 16 sessions. Like, no, you
Yeah.
do you. But yeah, I work with clients and it's an hour. It's exactly like this, only
A little
they
longer.
would get to talk
Right.
too. Yeah. So we meet on Zoom for an hour and we just kind of go through again, what's working, what's not working, what do we want to do differently? For the what's not working piece, we start to kind of take it apart using the model. So, using some coaching, seeing what the root cause is behind that behavior. Or, as you mentioned, I do have other tools I've been trained in as well, because sometimes people can see it's a thought, but they're like really attached
Yeah.
to the thought. Like, I see this as a thought and I see that it's messing me up and I would like for it to be optional, but I just really kind of think it's true.
But it's soft
And
and fuzzy, and I'd like to keep hanging on to it,
yeah,
right?
exactly. It's my wubby.
Yeah,
So for that, the EFT tapping, it's really effective. You can actually see somebody's brain. I mean, not see, but conversationally, you can
sure.
hear when somebody's brain switches sides and they start arguing for why they can do it instead of for why they can't do it. So that's a really effective tool. And I've
Yeah.
got a couple more woo-woo things as well that I pull out a little sprinkle of magic dust. But yeah, that's how we work together. And again, after 16 weeks, occasionally I'll have a client, like I had one client who wanted to do one more package and we broke it into 30-minute sessions and did a monthly check-in. So it became 30 minutes a month for 8 months just to offer her
Kind of
continuing support.
continuing.
Yeah, but I do kind of feel like, yeah, after 16 weeks, if you're like, Lisa, you seem nice, but this helped me 0%. There's nothing I'm holding back. It's not like, oh, well, if you sign up for another 6 months, then I'll give you the answer.
Yeah.
So, again, after that amount of time, if this is not helping you, then I am probably just not the right provider. And right, like we both did our best,
Yeah.
and I'll refer you if I know the right person. But
Yeah.
I
And
like
it
having that
it's
container around
underscores,
it.
right, that it's got to be somebody willing to do the thought work and really willing to pay attention. And that's not to say that people didn't think they were when they signed up. If there some of those people have made it there, right? Things happen, right? Or maybe, right.
Yeah.
But
And there can be a misunderstanding too, right? And I try to be very clear with people, but you just can't imagine everything that someone's imagining.
yeah. Yeah.
So if I get 4 weeks in and somebody's like, when are you going to give me the recipes? I'm like, oh. So yeah, if you want a food plan, especially in Florida, that is very
Yeah.
regulated. Like that, you need to be a registered dietitian. But I'm looking for the things because we kind of know.
Yeah.
We kind of know, right? It's the chocolate, the emotional support chocolate,
Yeah.
or it's the cookies, or it's the celebrating. I actually have this. I don't mention the name of the client, but I have the story about this. One of my clients would overeat when she celebrated, which who doesn't? It's
Sure.
especially this time of year. It's the holidays, but she was doing that almost every week. It was like every 7 to 10 days was a celebration. And I'm like, hang on. If this is happening every week, then it's really not that special. So maybe we have the big feast, the,
Yeah.
intentional choice to overeat a couple of times a year, not, 4 to 5 times a month. I think we've figured out what's sabotaging the success. But the belief was if I'm celebrating, I overeat. And you can keep that belief, but
But here's the
then
result of it. Right.
yeah, you've just thrown away like you worked all week and
Yeah.
then you went, crazy on the weekend.
Yeah.
You've just undermined everything you've done. So maybe we could celebrate the big things. Like you can keep your belief, but maybe let's be more selective about where you apply it. So it's
Yeah.
those kind of issues that we're digging into because we all, again, I'm working with women over 40. We kind of know. We know it's probably like vegetables, water,
Right.
movement.
The basics. Yeah.
Yeah. Like protein is a new one we're throwing
Yeah.
in. But
Yeah.
everybody kind of knows, like, probably I should eat a salad and not a cookie.
Yeah.
The
Well, so
question is
if
why?
someone wants to have your support as they
Yes.
are navigating the thing they know might be their thing, right? And the
Yes.
thoughts around it, where should they track you down? I will, of course, include that all below this video as well, but where can they find out more?
Perfect. I am old school. So honestly, the easiest way to get in touch with me is email.
Okay.
And that's Lisa at lisaduke.net. So exactly
Yeah.
like it sounds. Lisa at lisaduke.net. Shoot me an email. I offer a free initial consultation to anybody who wants to have a chat. And again, right, it's like this. We get on Zoom, you tell me what's going on, and I'll be as honest as I can. If I'm like, whoo, okay, you need a dietitian, or, if you've been diagnosed with an eating disorder and you haven't treated it, maybe we
Yeah.
need some real therapy from an expert in that. But if it sounds like something I can help with, then we would onboard them, get them that first package of sessions. And I typically like to do those once a week for an hour over Zoom during the day, my time. But again, it's flexible. So if somebody has a big trip coming up, they have a conference that they know is going to be all consuming, we just, skip a week or, get it before you head out of town. So I like to be pretty flexible, but it's good that we work together over that period of time because then we get a variety of scenarios. It's not just how to eat at home, it's how to eat when you're with family, how to eat when you're traveling for work. So that's enough space that we come up with a lot of scenarios
Right.
to
You
coach
can
on.
address the things that come up. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So
Yeah.
Lisa at lisaduke.net is my email, and that's the best way to get a hold of me. I'm also on Instagram at Lisa Duke STS and on Facebook, personal and business, but email is the
Okay.
best because I actually look at that more often.
Okay. And I will include your website with this as well, so
Perfect.
everybody can track you down. And
Fantastic.
thank you. Thank you for joining us and for sharing all of the things you do, not even all, but sharing a taste of what you do, right?
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed the
Wow.
opportunity to chat with you and with the internet.
Everyone. Thanks again. Thank you.